Hello to my Aries. This is Queen Amun Ra coming to you with your general reading. Let's get right into it. The moon is in Leo. If you're watching this video on Saturday. This video is for Saturday, June 28th slash Sunday, June 29th through the 7th or 8th of July. So we have quite a few planets that are about to go retrograde. I'm going to go pay attention to that. Because they're let's see, some planets that's going retrograde in your zodiac sign. So Neptune is going retrograde in your zodiac sign on July 4th. Chiron is going retrograde in your zodiac sign on July 30th. Saturn goes retrograde in your zodiac sign on July 13th. Pluto is currently already retrograde in Aquarius, and then Mercury will be retrograde in Leo again on, well, it was in your sign in March, but it's going to be retrograde in Leo on July 18th. So that's a lot of fire. Something is definitely going to increase your prayer life. So let's get into it. Let's go. I trust my intuition. That's right. Trust your intuition. All right, let's get into something. Let's see. Where is let's get a number. Here. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. All right. So, moon in Libra. Yeah, moon in Libra. So let's get into it. Let's see what's your number. Oops, 2 came out. 31. I am disciplined and I am brilliant. So your approach to life is an effective mix of both practicality and imagination. Your mind is stirring with creative ideas and you have the organizational skills to manifest them to life. And 7, you possess a very refined mind and a deep urge to uncover life's mysteries. Your ability to acquire vast knowledge on both the informational and spiritual planes gives you a greater awareness than most. That's that brilliance. Brilliance. So, yeah. Somebody is going through a spiritual initiation process happening here. That's what this is. Yep. So, of learning how to trust their intuition. All right. So let's get into it. Right. Really learning how to really trust your intuition. Let's get into this. Let's get into some tarot. Talking to you wherever Aries is in your birth chart. Wherever Aries is in your birth chart. All right. Okay. First card out. 10 of Wands. So something has come to an end. Something has already come to an end. Possibly with a Taurus. Because I'm looking at this bull here. Something may have come to an end with a Taurus. I was just kind of like feeling like you had the weight of the world on your shoulders, but something has come to an end with a Taurus. Somebody may have been feeling like they were carrying a load, like burdened on their shoulders. So something has already come to an end, right? And so you're not giving any more time and attention to something. So sources that because you're not giving any more time and attention to it, money is coming across your path. And sources saying to you, your money is coming across you and someone's path. But the way this is kind of tricky. The way money is going to come through your door is, again, you being in your north node. So if somebody is still energetically tied, emotionally, energetically tied to someone who is responsible for their burdens around money, then they don't realize that they're causing a tower to fall on them, right? If they're still talking to energies who are responsible for, let me slow down for somebody. So I'm talking to you wherever Aries is in your birth chart. If you are still talking to energies, if you're still paying attention, talking to energies who you know are responsible, you're trusting your intuition, or if you're physically and energetically still tied to talking to, because I'm feeling like right now someone is burdened, like someone is burdened, like someone needs money, somebody needs money, and they could be still talking to somebody, knows that you're still talking to some energies or somehow linked to some energies that have caused you energetically and physically have caused you. And so, yeah, so you're having some kind of an awakening, right? Like, oh, somebody, you still talking to some energies. This isn't a physical, this isn't a spiritual, even though it's in the, it's, you're manifesting this right here. You're manifesting, you're speaking something over your finances, right? So if somebody is learning how to be a little bit more meticulous and like, okay, all right. So if somebody is still energetically tied to something, they're already manifesting something. They've already manifested something. But something is going to be overwhelming. Yep, something is going to be overwhelming. Some kind of discovery, because it's been overwhelming for somebody to believe that certain energies could be overwhelming, could be responsible for something like light and dark of something. It's just been overwhelming for somebody to believe, for you to believe something. You were impulsive. You may have jumped to conclusions at first, but something about you was like, okay, now it's time to get really structured and authoritative. Here we have the Star card, and this is having to do with your 11th house, your friendships, your your um your 11th house has something to do with your friendships and your community, right? And your goals, your hopes, your wishes, your awareness, humanitarianism, technology, and also the future. So I'm feeling like somebody has a friend that's like a family member that because when you say paid, like it could be like paid attention to, like maybe paid some attention to something, right? Could be hanging around, could be traveling with energies right here. So somebody now has an innate spiritual understanding of things in terms of like your north node, right? This is what I mean. So Aries, when you're on your way to your north node, there are going to be a lot of people that's going to try to attach themselves to you. So if you're married to or dating or whatever, somebody who's in their north node, like a celebrity, and celebrity is not just because they're on TV, cameras, lights. I'm talking about somebody who could be celebrated in their work. They could work for the government. They could work for a law firm. They could work for. They could be a driver with a delivery company, but they actually own the company and people don't know it. They just drive. They're operating in their north node and their purpose. People will pay attention to energies when they feel like, oh, somebody's operating in their north node, right? But it can also be their downfall as well, right? Um, yeah, it can also be their tower. It can also cause them to have a tower moment. If somebody is weighed down and overwhelmed, like what Source is saying to you is that um, yeah, to know your worth and know your value. Give no more attention to energies who are you feel like are responsible for bullying you in some way, shape, form, or fashion, whoever you are. And again, I'm talking to you wherever Aries is in your birth chart. You feel like somebody bullied you, maybe a Taurus bullied you, or somebody who has Taurus in their Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn. Somebody may have felt like they bullied you because you know what or you may have felt like you were bullied by an organization. Let's say you got bullied out of a job. Okay, this could be an organization, right? Or some kind of organization where you may have felt like they start out with prayer, they end with prayer, they have all of this structure and all, they say they got all of this structure, but as soon as you moved on, they were overwhelmed, right? You started doing something by yourself, like, or you partnered up with someone and all of a sudden they're trying to make you responsible for something. So, whereas before they weren't paying you any attention before, now they paying you all the attention in the world. They want to, you know what I'm saying? Like they want you, and they want to invite you to stuff. Now you coming to the cookout, you here, you there, you all over the place, right? So something at first for you felt like the weight of the world's on your shoulders, but then you start saying, something is over, right? Something is over. It's almost like somebody had a wake up call. Like, how can I describe this, Aries, for you all? I'm gonna make sure my microphone is on. It's like finally leaving a job that you were not appreciated on because people didn't know your worth and they didn't know your value and they didn't pay any attention to you. Like you could have had somebody, people didn't pay no attention to you, right? At first, all of a sudden you started believing in your dreams, you started believing in things, and now all of a sudden the spotlight is on you. You can just move on. I'm telling you, you can move on. The reason why you're seeing this right here, this tower card, is because you're having some kind of an awakening, just like everybody else has an awakening. As soon as you're on your way up to your north node, meaning your purpose, a cheerful giver to God, here come everybody want to latch on to you. They want to pack it all up in the car. What time are we leaving? You like, hold on, not after you didn't weigh me down. What time are we? Who is? Oh, now you speak French. Source is saying. Source is saying to you, you're not paying them any mind. You're just moving on. You ain't want to pay no attention to me before. Oh, now all of a sudden it's we, it's us. No, no, you good. So some money is coming across. So money is coming across in people's path. But what you're learning is your worth and your value. You're learning your worth and your value. And you're learning how to create very firm boundaries and enforce those boundaries. Because yeah, some people, two energies were paid to leave you out of something. We're paid to leave you out of something. And and so now all of a sudden money coming across you in somebody's path. Now all of a sudden everybody want to have a conversation about something. What are we talking about? Like what, after you and somebody been carrying some kind of a load, now all of a sudden everybody want to talk. So learn how to trust your intuition, because source is balancing things out. Source is balancing some things out. Okay, source is balancing some things out. Somebody have been dealing with two vain, vengeful, green with envy spirits. And the zodiac sign, when I talk about zodiac sign, just like this is not just an Aries reading, it's for really first house, people's first impression of you, right? Source is trying to remind you that you are a prayer warrior. So it's like as soon as you, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm talking about somebody's job here now, because as soon as you stepped in through the doors of your job, somebody looked at you and said, okay, this person, first impression, this person can be bullied. We know they're going somewhere, but they're not going to be here that long, right? Somebody saw you as opposition the moment you walk through the door. The moment you walk through the door. A Sagittarius, um, somebody who could be on the cusp of like a Sagittarius and a Capricorn could be on the cusp. Somebody saw you as opposition as soon as you walk through the door. And something about your intuition, that's what Source is trying to tell you, like something about your intuition, like it's going to take somebody back to their teenage years. It's almost like somebody is now starting to remember what it felt like when, whether you're a girl or a guy, I mean, a man or a woman, like soon as you walk through the door, the way you walk, the way you handle yourself or whatever, people seeing you as competition, maybe the way you laugh or joke or whatever the case may be. But somebody saw you and somebody as competition as soon as y'all came through the door. And so Source is saying to you, but see, you know your worth and you know your value. This came out upside down. You know your worth and you know your value, right? So it's going to be their misfortune when you move on. It's going to be their misfortune when you move on, because two energies were paid to do something, right? They were paid to do something. An Aries, a Virgo was paid to do something. A Leo is involved in something. A Scorpio is involved in something. And these are all low vibrating energies, right? So you do have high vibrating, if there's a Pisces involved in something, but low vibrating Scorpio, low vibrating Pisces, low vibrating Aquarius, low vibrating Taurus, low vibrating Libra, right? Something about a Sagittarius saw you coming through the door and was easily like, okay, somebody got paid to do something. But here's the beautiful part about breaking generational cycles, chains, and curses. You've been around high vibrating Pisces, you've been around high vibrating Aquarius, high vibrating Taurus, and high vibrating Libras before. So when something is in reverse and try to make you feel like it's your misfortune, sources like you can quickly flip the script and be like, hold on, I know what a high vibrating, just like you know what a high vibrating Aries is, right? So you're like, oh, no, I've been in the company of some people high vibrational. I've worshipped with people, I've partied, gone to happy hour, all the whatever. So for you, Source just needs you to get structured. Source needs you to just get structured. So while one thing may have come to an end, Source is saying you should be celebrating something. You should be celebrating something. That you don't feel weighed down. Something is not your responsibility anymore, right? Here's a 3 and 6. You don't even have to talk about it. Something is not your responsibility anymore. Something in somebody's teenage years is going to bring somebody back to their teenage years. You know, like if you're a woman, you walk in a room and women are looking you up and down, or like, making those sounds, whatever. Like it's a competition. Somebody is so over the competition piece at this point, it just don't even make any sense. So it's really their misfortune if they saw you as competition. That's what somebody's starting to learn. It's like, okay, let me pray about this. What in the world am I getting stressed out over, feeling like I have the weight of the world on my shoulders? Something is not my responsibility anymore. I'm not paying any more attention to it. Not my responsibility financially, spiritually, it's not my responsibility. You know, if a tower falls on some energies, it's not my responsibility. I am moving off my life. I don't even need to talk about it anymore. Something has been a nightmare. It has just been a nightmare. I don't talk about it anymore. What in the world? Somebody's getting ready to pack up and travel and move into, somebody's about to enter into a new romantic relationship, a new and exuberant love, or somebody is about to move into their new homes. You got some really good news, or into a new job. Somebody's like, something is not your responsibility anymore. Yeah. Right now, somebody may feel like there's some kind of misfortune or something happening, but when you sit down and really think and pray about it, somebody's gonna be like, oh no, you don't have to pay for somebody's, like for instance, if you're moving into a home or something like that, you don't have to pay for extra space for energies to be there. You don't have to be, looking for extra rooms and extra this and that. You're somebody saving their money. Somebody's starting to look at like, okay, I'm saying this through a different lens now. I don't have to. So, or even if you downsize in a car or something like that. Okay, I don't have to buy all this extra gas. I don't have to. I know my worth and my value. I'm not trying to keep up with the whoever, whatever last name. None of that. I'm not going back to that. That's what somebody is saying. 4 and 9 here. Somebody's saying no, no. You don't ever have to go back to feeling like you just want to be a part of something. Just to be a part of something, a family, friendship group, whatever. You're not paying attention to that. So somebody's finally getting some rest. Yeah, something has been a nightmare. Somebody is finally getting some rest for the first time in their lives. But something is no longer, you're grateful that something is behind you at this point. That's what somebody's just grateful that these 3 energies are behind you. Like when you really sit and think about it, you're like, wait a minute, hold on. Something was done behind your back that justifiably you feel like you have a reason to cut some energies off for good. And that's it. Yeah. 3 energies did something behind your back. You don't ever have to talk to them again. You don't ever have to go back. Somebody has something new coming across their path, new job. This right here, this is a space, right? So you have you and somebody, or let's say it's you have a new and exuberant love coming through. Somebody could be going to a wedding. Somebody could be celebrating graduating from school. It's something that you're doing because you've been carrying the weight of everybody else's world on your show, whoever you are, for so long. So it's like, no, that's not yours to carry. That is not that's their spirit. Whatever, they got a spirit of depression, a spirit of lack, or spirit, or whatever they lack, that is not yours anymore. That's not yours. So it's saying, take a cue out of people's books. You better go on with your life. You don't need to talk about it. Do an energetic cord cutting, pray about it, and move on. So you can finally get some rest. Not your problem. Here we have the 9 of Swords here. Yeah, so it's saying wake up from a nightmare. Don't go to sleep and then start talking about it again, and then bring that nightmare back. You know, teaming up with energies who, like I said before, already look down on you, and then you get blindsided, and now you're confused because you talk to some energy. So it's like, So that's what I'm feeling like on somebody's job. This may would have happened with somebody's job. Somebody may have felt like somebody's responsible for some kind of misfortune, because I'm telling the wheel of fortune here, that just turned everything topsy-turvy, looking at your cards here. But source is saying now somebody's starting to think about, hold on. And these could be family members that responsible for some kind of stuff that caused you some kind of, you know, um, something about them wanting to be accepted or whatever caused you some kind of misfortune. But I'm telling you, the towers ended up falling on because somebody likes to, um, talk. They overthink. They have a big heart. They're an overgiver. So sources like these energies will make them responsible for something. So sources saying you're moving on. You are moving on. Yeah, you're moving on. Yeah. So you're closing out a cycle. Something about you, this is a 7 of swords. Source is saying to you, you're moving on from a nightmare, 2 situations that were a nightmare for you, finally getting some rest. And looking at your cards here, somebody is you're now learning how to take your power with you. This is a 7 of swords here. So how you're taking your power with you is you don't have to say anything negative about these energies at all, about word, thought, or deed. They come across your mind, transmute the energy. If it's something negative, somebody just cracks or whatever, and whatever, transmute the energy and move on. Transmute the energy and move on. Yeah, because people don't get away with anything. So it's like, here's the 7 of cups here. You're learning how, somebody is just sitting around. This is what you have in common. This is something that you had to learn. You had to learn, like when you're, kind of over giving, like oversharing, over giving information, and people are taking pictures, they're recording, they're doing all of this and that. And so it's saying, here's the 10 of wands here. They'll also make you responsible for something. So somebody is going right on back to enjoying their lives. That's what I'm seeing here in your card. Yeah, so I feel like somebody could have worked a job where maybe your manager or somebody, whoever you work with, they may have, you may not have felt appreciated, on your job, in your personal or your professional life. And that caused somebody to just get balanced out, not being an overgiver anymore. When you walk out, you're like, okay, that's that. You get tired of being blindsided by energy. You feel like you had their back, they didn't have your back. So somebody says, no, not anymore. That's a wrap. You see, you learn how to see something from a higher frequency. Yeah. Yeah. So okay, now this is what you have in common with somebody, right? So somebody that you may have had a lot of conversation with, this is Sagittarius. You may have a lot of conversation with this energy, right? But somebody saw you as competition, walking through the door, right? But they are also responsible. They play some kind of role in bullying somebody, two energies behind closed doors, right? For them not to want to come back, to be around them at all, whoever these energies are. And so you don't need to pay attention to anything anymore. It's something matter of fact, you're putting your energy towards this leadership position that you're stepping into. You're stepping into a leadership position, that's going to pay you more money. Yeah. Something is taking you towards financial independence, you and your family towards financial independence. So, and it's because you know your worth and you know your value. Yep. So here we have, yes. So somebody's like, you don't play games. You're not interested in playing games. You're trying to get structured and authoritative, but something is putting you into a leadership position that's going to take you and your family to big money, right? So you're learning how to pour into you. There's going to be some energies from your past that's going to think that you're being selfish, but really it's not. It's more of you learning how, hey, I need to stop being so impulsive. I need to slow down, live a softer life. I know I'm a responsible person. I know how to carry a load. And so I'm not going back to being imbalanced anymore. And especially with energies who see you as competition from the very beginning, see you as competition. Like, yeah, somebody saw you as being very lazy. The fire sign saw you as being lazy. When people are now waking up to like lazy, high vibrational or low vibrational Aries, mm-mm. But see, this right here, 4 cups, somebody's having a sudden awareness that it was a missed opportunity. That's what this card flew out in reverse. Somebody that you, somebody that you were friends with who told people that you were lazy. But I feel like somebody just kept saying something over and over and over again. And finally you said, you know, but I need to just move on. I just need to move on. And now they're having some kind of a sudden awareness that no, you're not. And it could be because y'all know how I speak very highly of zodiac signs on my channel, and y'all energy is just not really a lazy energy. Yeah, that would just kind of be the wrong zodiac sign. That would not be your sign. Aries is not, whether Aries could be called a lot of things, but lazy, I can't put, let's put lazy on Aries. I just can't. So somebody is realizing they having this sudden awareness. It's 4 cups in reverse, right? You know, they're gonna just choose happiness. There's somebody saying, nah, they missed an opportunity with you. Somebody really, really missed an opportunity. Um, yeah. These two energies, they're inspired by money. Whoever these energies are, they just inspired by money. They like literally show me the money and that's it. Right. So something may have happened where they got to that point. Is a Leo involved in something who was determined to bring out the dark side in you, or bring the dark side out and like to enlighten people about your dark side? Something around talking around about music as far as you're concerned. So they were trying to bring out like the what is it called? The Pied Piper, like trying to bring out, you know, by talking about like having this warm fireside chat with you, but they were just trying to bring out the darkness in you, trying to bring out your shadow side. And so now that you're moving on, you're saying you're not responsible for some energies. You got more money and you keeping more money in your pocket. You sleeping better at night. You're moving on. You don't need to talk to or talk about certain energies anymore. It's been a night. Something has been a nightmare. So yeah, so here we have 7 of Wands. So that's going to be your defense. You're just like, mm-mm. That's somebody's defense. I mean, your defense to yourself is more like, it's like, yeah, you're moving on. Like certain energies you don't have to talk to. It is what it is. You moved on. That's the thing about the moon in Libra. It's really about like a peaceful resolution. It's like in fairness and peaceful resolution. You may have felt some way about something before, but not anymore. You just don't. You're just moving on. Here we have the 7 of Pentacles. That's how somebody's money is going to grow. That's how you and someone's legacy are going to grow. Um, it's like you and your kids, or you and your spouse and kids, or whoever is going to grow, because you're not paying any more attention to it. Use energetic cut. Like energetic ties are cut and physical ties are cut. Like it's just all cut. Like, so that means that the tower in your vulnerability is not a bad or a good tower, depending on what you think is a bad or good tower. Yeah. Here's the Temperance card. You're seeing something. You're somebody learning how to now see something from a higher frequency. Like really learning how to see something from a higher frequency. Like what motivates people. Like really what motivates people. So yeah, so Knight of Swords. So looks like you're a quick thinking person. Here we have 6. Yeah, something is causing you to move on. Something about somebody with a motorcycle. Um, it could be because I'm looking at the Tower card, which speaks to like first and eighth house. It could be a Scorpio that's helping somebody to just move on, like just the way that they think. Could be just like it's not as deep. Something is not as deep as somebody thinks it is. Somebody could be helping you to just move on and like think fast. Just like, okay, something is no longer your responsibility anymore. You don't have to pay for something. Somebody could really just be helping you, or it could be your eighth house. It may not even be a person that's a Scorpio. It could be your eighth house, whatever your sign is in your eighth house. Here we have the King of Wands here. Yeah. Somebody is something. It's you as well as really source. As a prayer warrior, it's really source is the one that's helping you to remember. Like, oh wait a minute, I don't. That's not my responsibility. Like, what in the world was I thinking? So yeah, you and somebody are doing more of pouring into yourselves. That's why something is reversed because so this is like, you're having some kind of a sudden awareness. You're having some kind of a sudden awareness that something is no longer your responsibility. Something is no longer your responsibility. Somebody's getting ready to have a good old time and celebrate, have a good life, all of that. Yeah. So something, you're completely leaving the past in the past here. Like, so if there are energies, like I said before, that saw you as competition, or if you were still confused about something, whether somebody lied, told the truth, whatever, as far as you're concerned, hey, you're letting them have a tower moment. If they have something negative to say about you, that's between them and their karma. It has nothing to do with you. That's the frequency that you're on. As far as you're concerned, you're like, there's nothing to do with you. You are moving on. You're not trying to hear about it or know about it. Here's the beginning. This is you, the beginning. There's still time to adjust or start over. Feel life flowing freely through your being. All your wishes can come true in the creative potential of a new beginning. Of a new beginning. You will get there. You can't force flowers to grow or plants to sprout. Be patient and respect that everything happens in its own way in time. So make room, create space to welcome positive change into your life. Let go of everything that doesn't align with the future that you are creating, receiving it all. You deserve to receive abundance at full capacity. Believe in your worth and trust that the universe is ready to deliver all that you desire. So open up. I feel like somebody's north node could be Sagittarius, because somebody likes to travel, but somebody had to meet a low vibrating Sagittarius to recognize that, that's a bully, that had to recognize, oh no, 3 strikes, you're out. And meaning 3 means somebody was inspired to talk to somebody in a very bullying way, meaning that somebody may have said something to you in a very tactless, restless, or irresponsible way. That helps you to say, wait a minute, hold on. I don't need to have a God complex to just go ahead and put this fire out. I can just, hey, and bury this right now. I can just go ahead. It's like somebody saying, okay, well, you know what? Something was burning and you like, okay, I need to just go ahead and put this out. And the way you're putting it out, I'm not putting any more energy into something. Not putting no more time into this. No more time, and it's going to have a backlash. Here we have, you are complete. You are not broken. Nothing is wrong with you. Don't spend your life fixing problems. Dwell in the beauty of your being. You are enough now and always. So yeah, if somebody was, you can apply this in your personal or your professional life. When you know your worth and you know your value and energies, because we're starting out with this leading card, and somebody was inspired to talk to somebody in a bullying kind of way. So it's just saying, yeah, wrong zodiac sign, because for real, if you was a low vibrating Aries, you would let them have it. But no, you keeping it on the throne, you keeping it high vibrational, and somebody is trying to get to their north node. This is you moving on. It's not even worth it, and so somebody was definitely whoever this energy is, you learn that you can't trust them, because whoever this energy is, they so busy trying to bring out the worst in everybody else by recording conversations, showing you text messages, emails, this and that, so on and so forth. So it's saying you cutting them off too. You're seeing something from a higher frequency. You're seeing something from a higher frequency, how to use your fire properly, responsibly. So you're raising the bar. When you set higher standards for the people and situations in your life, you create space for new levels of joy and abundance to rise above old patterns. That's what this is. Yeah. If somebody was around some energies who like you felt like you were fortunate to be in the presence of some energies because they were giving you some paying attention to you. But somebody said just because you just to move on. Yeah. Something they did or said caused you to just move on. Yeah. Somebody is learning that the first time. See this number 3? Well, you can't see it's not a number 3. On your way to your north node, the first time somebody says something to you, like they're not paying attention to you, or, like you don't know your worth or your value, or like you just really want to be a part of something so bad, the first time certain energies say something to you, that's going to remind you of what you were bullied for in your teenage life. So it's just saying going to be the first and last time you're going to get up and walk out. You're going to just get up and walk out. Everything is here. Embrace the spiritual belief that everything already exists in the here and now. Live in the present moment and be grateful for what you have. Yeah, be grateful for what you have. So you may not be able to walk up a job that quickly, but you will certainly start circulating your resume right away, because something about being bullied by people is triggering. In your teenage years, younger years, or whatever, it's being left off of emails. That's a form of it, which might intentionally spell your name wrong and then say, how come you didn't show up in a meeting? All that kind of games. So something, as far as you're concerned, you're no longer paying attention. You know your worth, you know your value, and so you're learning how to trust your intuition. So yeah, whoever this energy is, third house, you used to travel with this energy. Something about your energy gave them bullying vibes. And I know third house, talking to them, Gemini rules third house. And something about taking short trips with them, talking about hobbies as far as they're concerned, talking about your early education, your intelligence, the way you reason, or your logic and reason. Something lets you know that the energy wasn't really paying attention to you unless money was involved. It's like they didn't hear nothing until they heard some coins clanging. Like, okay, like you stuck some coins in the back of a thing. Now all of a sudden it came to life. So yeah, if money was involved, that's the only way they were moving. That's the only way you got any kind of inspiration, and they were inspired by money, and that's it. So somebody's like now in a leadership, talking about a leadership position. So it's just putting you in a leadership position and saying certain things are no longer your responsibility anymore. So good for you. That's what you and a lot of people have in common: detachment. With detachment, you finally feel whole inside. With or without the fulfillment of a particular desire, ironically, often that's when it's fulfilled. Yeah, you're in a leadership position. You're already there. For somebody is already in a leadership position. Source has already put you in a leadership position because of your heart. You don't have to say what's on your heart all the time. You don't have to always say what's on your mind. And so Source is saying, but you have a good heart. Your actions are going to start speaking louder than your words. And so you moving on from something or letting people know this person does have boundaries. Some people lied about them. They said that they were bullies. They said this, that they're a hothead or whatever. This is what you and a lot of people have in common. But you're saying, no, I'm just going to learn how to move on. I'm just going to learn how to move on. Just let you see the back of your head. So, yeah, a lot of your wishes are being fulfilled because of that. Because you are finally learning how to say, I'm going to put this in reverse. Hold on. I have this sudden awareness. Like, why am I going back to something? What am I doing? What am I going back? Why? Now that people are having some kind of an awakening that you are a very responsible person, now that something was over, that you actually are working, you know your worth, and you know your value because they either watched or heard you or whatever the case may be. Now, all of a sudden, you're being invited to everything. You're being invited to the office, um, the office happy hours. Your manager wasn't even looking at you before. Now all of a sudden you're invited to all the happy hours. So it's like, you're just having some kind of an awakening to go where you're appreciated and not where you're tolerated. So when your back is against the wall, guess what? You tapping in. You're learning how to tap in That's what you're doing. When you feel like your back is against the wall, you're learning how to tap in. You're creating something. You're working on something, whatever. Somebody's going, yeah, you're going, I'm telling you, somebody's moving on up in terms of your leadership position. You're learning how to balance this thing out. That's what I have for you. Hopefully this is helpful. See you all in the next video. Bye.